healthy money management habits that I've learned from the Dutch over the last years. Welcome back to another episode of Making It in Holland. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This is a channel all about expat life and entrepreneurship. If you want to see more of my upcoming videos, make sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell. 7 healthy money management habits that I've learned from the Dutch over the last years. Now, to give a little bit of a context, I'm originally from Turkey, and over the last 10 years that I've been living in the Netherlands, well, it's more like 10 plus years, I've actually observed that the way the Turkish handle money versus the Dutch handle money are two completely different things, and I'm going to be sharing my experiences regarding that in this video. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. The first healthy money habit that I learned from the Dutch is that the Dutch don't get creative when it comes to money. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when they have a certain amount of money that comes in at the end of the month, they know exactly how much of that money will go to what service or to what product. And they're very strict with that every month. In Turkey, sometimes people get a little bit creative. They get their salary in and they start splurging on things that on the long run they know they can't afford. And they get creative at the end of the month by applying for loans or getting in debt to their family or friends to pay off things that they should have paid upfront before splurging on other necessities. It's very important to be like the Dutch when it comes to this, because trust me, you do not want to get creative with your money, especially if this means you will get into debt. The second healthy money management tip that I've learned from the Dutch is experiences over things. The Dutch prefer spending their money on experiences that they know they will remember and cherish forever. So that could be going out for food and drinks with friends, that could be going on a nice vacation that you've been meaning to go on for literally ever, and can also be things that you don't necessarily spend money on, such as going for a nice hike or going for a picnic outside. Now this is where it's crazy in Turkey. In Turkey, I feel like people love living in the moment and love splurging as much as they can in the moment on material things. There is such a big craze of commercialism here, and there are so many shopping malls, guys. At the moment, I'm in Izmir, and you just have to drive like 5 minutes, and every 5 minutes that you drive, you look to your right or you look to your left, there will be a shopping mall. And chances are it will be filled with people spending their well-deserved and well-earned cash on things that could be better spent on experiences that they will remember and cherish forever. Another healthy money habit that I love that the Dutch do is that when you go out, everybody pays for themselves. This is just fantastic and how it should be everywhere you go, because when you go out with friends, usually the friend that invites you in Turkey pays for everything, and that is just such a pressure because you don't want to be sitting there looking through the menu, looking for the cheapest thing or the more affordable thing to order because you don't want your friend to pay a lot. It just takes off that added pressure, just splitting everything according to who ate what. It just makes more sense and just takes off this added pressure. In my opinion, it should be like that everywhere. Healthy money habit number 4 that I've learned from the Dutch is that pay yourself first and make sure that money goes into another bank account. Now, this is just a really common thing that we get taught by millionaires out there, people like Warren Buffett and other high net worth investors say number 1 tip is to pay yourself first, and then after that, invest that money. Well, in Turkey, you'd be surprised. People are very uneducated when it comes to money, and they're very reluctant on saving that money. So this is where the instant gratification comes back. When you get money here, people are more likely to spend it on shopping and material things, whereas in the Netherlands, it's super admirable. People think long term, so when they get money in every month, certain percentage automatically gets subtracted and gets put into a savings account, and from there they know what to do with that, whether that would be investing or saving for a trip or any other expense that might come up in the future. Money saving habit number 5 I learned from the Dutch is that save money on food. This is a game changer. Now, what I admire so much about the Dutch is that when it comes to lunch, everybody packs their own lunch from home. Usually this is something very simple, like a cheese and ham sandwich. They eat that during lunch break in a very fast and efficient way without spending a lot of money, and they know that that money spent on lunch can be better spent on something else. Now, compare that with what happens in Turkey is that during a lunch break, people love having their warm lunch, and usually the place where they work does not compensate for that, but still they go out to get that lunch and they spend anywhere between, in Turkish liras, like 30 up to 60 plus Turkish lira per meal, per lunch. That is just insane, and it's just insane on so many levels. After having such a heavy lunch, after that, continuing to work is pretty much virtually impossible. So I think it's better to save that money on lunch and spend it on something more meaningful. Another great money habit I've learned from the Dutch is that you do not need to show off your riches. Now, what this means is that when you're walking down the street, whether that would be in Amsterdam or in Rotterdam, people look relatively normal. Nobody is really out there wearing their like flashy clothes and like fancy jewelry. Everybody just looks normal. There is even a saying in Dutch that goes, doe normaal, which means do normal. And what follows from that is really interesting. Doe normaal omdat jij bent gek genoeg, which means just do normal because you're already crazy enough when you're acting normal, and that really reflects on the street culture. Now, when you actually juxtapose that with what happens in Turkey is that people here love dressing up, people love jewelry, and people love fancy designer things. And when you go down the street, this is very much visible. I don't really like that. I think I really became accustomed to this more minimalistic approach that I love in the Netherlands, and I feel like that money is better spent on other things than material things. And when you're walking down the street displaying those material things for everybody, well, I feel like that's just a little bit off-putting. The last healthy money habit I've learned from the Dutch is that it should not be easy to get a credit card. Let me say that again. It should not be easy to get a credit card. When you walk into a bank here in Turkey, people don't even ask that many questions and they just give you a credit card like it's nothing. I mean, seriously, I know some people that get credit cards to pay off the debt of another credit card, and that can only carry on so many times. In the Netherlands, actually, just about over a year ago, I applied for a credit card and I got rejected. And you know what? I'm so glad I got rejected. It just makes sense because you first have to be able to prove that you have enough income. You have to be able to prove that you're good with money management before somebody just gives you a credit card and sets you into this wild world of spending. I mean, seriously, like, I really feel like it is just really important to be mindful of the fact that credit cards are not just things just like thrown out in the air, but there needs to be a proper system in place before you can get one. I hope you guys learned some healthy money management habits from this week's video. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Until then, guys, stay awesome. Bye!